Welcome to Capital City Paranormal-ish, where we delve into the exploration of creepy, strange, paranormal, and unexplainable TikToks that we all love to watch. So sit back, grab your popcorn, and strap in, and get ready to have your entire reality questioned. Hey, freaky family members and friends, how you all doing today? Thank you for joining in for another edition of Capital City Paranormal-ish, where we delve into the exploration of creepy, strange, paranormal, odd, unexplainable, funny even sometimes, TikToks that we all love to watch. So, if you're new here to the channel, hit that subscribe button down there and become a member of the freaky family, because you all know you should be a member. So anyways, it's free, it doesn't cost anything, and it only takes two seconds to hit subscribe. So without further ado, my freaky family and friends, let's get right down to today's videos.
What John saw weren't stars falling from the sky. He described it the only way he could, using the words of his time. Stars from heaven fell to the earth. Revelation 6:13. What he actually described were modern missiles in an airstrike. He also spoke of thunder, earthquakes, and smoke. He saw weapons, but called them fiery swords, and iron creatures flying that looked like locusts. He had never seen a helicopter, but he tried to describe it. The apocalypse may have already begun, but in a different language. The prophecy is unfolding, but few are noticing. We are in the apocalypse, and John saw the present day.
Well, I don't know. I think you can definitely say that can be interpreted many different ways, so interpret it how you like, I guess. I don't know, let us know what you think down in the comments. And hey, I just wanted to say, I noticed it wasn't just, I think, a week ago when I think we broke our first 100 subscribers. We're well on our way to 200. So, right on. Anyways, here's the next video.
Loading these nuclear weapons ended up basically acting as beacons to a number of ET races in our general area. The primary energy pulse that occurs in one of these explosions sends an energy that feeds back through the fabric of space-time. All stars, all planets are connected through electromagnetic filaments. Scientists call these connections the cosmic web. It looks like a giant spider web all throughout the cosmos. When a nuclear explosion occurs, it sends a feedback through this cosmic web. This is a problem because these extraterrestrials not only communicate through this cosmic web, but they actually travel through it from star to star. Therefore, when we detonated these devices, we sent out a signal saying not only are we at a certain level of advancement, but we're not at a certain level of advancement spiritually. Towards the end of my training, it started to become pretty clear that I had done very well in the intuitive empath training. I'd done very well in the rest of the general training that I was given. And I was starting to be introduced to non-terrestrial beings. So it became very obvious that I was going to be interacting with non-terrestrials, and I assumed it was going to be in an off-world environment. Little did I know that I was going to be drafted in this program when I was 16 years old. And it was during my Christmas break between the age of 16 and 17 years old. I turned 17 in February. I was taken from my room. I was then taken to Carswell Air Force Base. I was then transported to the moon, where I sat and signed a bunch of papers that were non-disclosures, were just a big stack of papers signing my life away when I wasn't even 17 years old yet. While they were building this complex, they had utilized an ancient alien building that was not too terribly far away. They had found a bunch of these buildings on the moon, and they had found one of the buildings that they were able to patch up with some of the concrete they made from the local regolith. They then were able to pressurize it and use it as a base of operations while they built out the Lunar Operation Command. After a number of years, and after Operation Paperclip served its purpose and integrated the Nazis into the military-industrial complex, the LOC was handed over to the Americans. When approaching the moon from Earth in an electrogravitic craft, you will find the moon will be at a distance, and then it will grow very quickly in front of you. And then the next thing you know, you are above the surface. You will then fly in the electrogravitic craft at breakneck speeds, except you don't feel inertia. You find yourself hugging maybe 90 feet, 300 feet above the lunar surface, going at incredible speeds until you reach a crater. And then you find yourself orbiting a crater. The person piloting the craft radios in, requesting permission to land. You don't see anywhere to land. All of a sudden, a little haze kind of occurs, and then there's a base. It's the Lunar Operation Command. And as you fly down and over, there is a control tower where they control the air traffic. As you fly around this base to make your final approach, you see a secondary crater. And as you fly down into that crater, it's fairly deep, and you end up popping out into a lava tube section where you immediately see a giant building built into the middle of that lava tube that blocks it. And it's built kind of like the shape of a bell. And it looks like the outside of a battleship almost, the way it's built. You then fly in and land in the bay, and you're now at the Lunar Operation Command. Right after about the 6-year mark in my 20 and back experience, I found out some very disturbing details that no one on the ship knew about. And, well, almost no one. I was approached by a petty officer Wheeler, someone who I honestly had a crush on, and she used that to her advantage. She needed me and an engineer to help her get into a room, a restricted room, and look into some pods. She wanted to know what was in those pods. She had a bad feeling. Well, we helped her get in, and I was standing watch. She and the engineer opened up one of the pods, and they were cryogenic chambers. And they were full of people that had basically looked like they'd been filleted and cleaned and sent to the market. While I saw this a little bit from a distance, gas was escaping from this pod, and it overcame the petty officer and the engineer, and they collapsed. And as I was turning to run through the door I was watching through, I collapsed. After I came to in the sick bay, they had explained that the 2 others had died in the accident, and that I was being held for debriefing. I was then debriefed, told not to repeat the information to anyone else. If I wasn't a valuable intuitive empath, my fate would have been much different. So they sent me back to my regular duties and told me that from time to time I was going to be pulled over to work on a different deck on a different project. And this project was basically a galactic slave trade. It turned out that for many decades, while we were developing technology to try to fight some of the negative ETs, there were extraterrestrials that were coming into our solar system, were coming to our planet, would swoop down and kidnap people and leave, and then take them and trade them off into some sort of galactic slave trade that's going on. After a while, the benevolent powers that be decided, you know what, this is a commodity. If we start calling our own people and trading them off to these extraterrestrials, we can get trinkets, we can get technology, we can get biologicals, and that's what happened. They would trade human beings for biological samples, much like what Henry Smith would end up receiving in his lab and doing different experiments on. And they would also get technology, and they would trade the humans off. The humans would go off to be used in any number of ways. So the Cabal group has been basically utilizing human beings as a resource. So as little groups of people from all of these different programs started to join and work very quietly and secretly to not only find out the full truth of what was going on, but find a way to combat it. The SSP Alliance is a very small fraction of the overall secret space program or secret space programs, under 1%. So the only technology that they have is what they brought with them when they defected. It is a ragtag group that is doing their best to bring full disclosure to humanity. They don't want a slow, protracted disclosure. They want all of these technologies given to all of humanity at once, not to any one group, any one country, to everyone at once. And that is what the Secret Space Program Alliance has been working for.
I can no rather validate than say that that's not true, because I don't know what's going on. But you know what? Anything that he said wouldn't surprise me at all. So, I don't know. Maybe that's what we are. We're just walking slabs of meat, waiting to be had. I don't know. There's got to be more to it than that. There's got to be more. I feel it in here. And I don't know. We're winning. And I think it's because of my bro Jeebus. Because that's it. We winning. Here's the next one.
The Battle of Gog and Magog is one of the most intriguing themes in the Bible. Many people wonder, who are these nations? According to Scripture, Gog is the leader of a land called Magog, which represents forces of evil. This war is prophesied as an apocalyptic confrontation, filled with symbolism and deep meaning. Today, scholars and theologians try to identify who these nations might be. Some believe Gog and Magog represent powers from the Middle East, while others point to nations like Russia or China. The idea of a global conflict involving alliances and betrayals is both alarming and fascinating. The Bible describes this war as an event that will take place just before the end times. Nations will unite against Israel, and the battle will be intense. But what does this mean for our world today? The rising geopolitical tension forces us to stop and think. Could these prophecies be a warning or a preview of what's to come? The answers aren't simple, but our curiosity about the future is undeniable. This battle might be more than just an ancient account. It might be a call to stay alert and to reflect.
Have you ever wondered why every major phone company switched to non-removable batteries at the exact same time? They'll say it was to make phones slimmer, more waterproof, but let's be real. It was about stripping away your control. Back then, you could just pull out the battery. Boom! No power, no tracking, no spying. Now, press the power button. All you want, your phone isn't truly off. It's still listening, still watching. Alarms still go off when it's off. Apps update in the middle of the night. And airplane mode, that's basically a placebo. Your phone stays connected. And it wasn't just one company. Every major brand made the switch. No options, no alternatives. So why the sudden universal change? Because the system wanted it that way. Control, that's what it's always been about. They've designed the perfect tracking device, one you keep in your pocket by choice. One that listens, watches, and silently sends data to someone. You don't know who, and that's the creepiest part. The tech didn't evolve for our benefit. It evolved to monitor us, and we just let it happen. No outrage, no resistance, just quiet acceptance. Of course, this is only a theory, not a fact.
Well, I also say that there's nothing by coincidence, and some theories are just backed up by a lot of facts. So, I don't know. I think they play us for stupid, and I don't think we are. So, if that's the way you want it, I guess that's the way you get it. I don't know. I guess we'll find out when more of the truth comes out. Here we go to the next one.
Oh my god, there was no way this was just revealed. And after seeing this, I can never no longer believe anything they ever tell me. Because what he just exposed will ruin 99% of you. So if you're weak, just click off now. Look, as we know, Cat Williams has said things that oftentimes get him in trouble. But what if he went too far with what he just revealed? Because who he just exposed has been known for taking people out, for even mentioning them. So now the question on everyone's mind is that if he went this far, when will they come for him? And what are they going to do? And the sad thing is that you guys idolize these people, but this whole time they're lying to you. And it makes you wonder, what else are they keeping secret from us that we have no idea about?
I'd seen that word transgender was Baphomet, the transgender. And so I knew that in the ritual of Baphomet, the transgender, to show allegiance to him, you had to kiss his ass ring.
Really?
And it said both of those things. So I knew that both of those things will become popular in the future.
Jack Kennedy was killed because he wanted to get the CIA under control and him back in control of these covert UFO-related programs and associated programs, energy, propulsion, all of it. And Alan Dulles, who helped start the CIA with the billionaire Paul Mellon, whose grandson I've been working with, he very interestingly said, what he said was, they were going to put through a federal review process. And I know RFK Jr. said this on some years ago on, I think, Larry King, and that President Kennedy was going to basically dissolve or totally reform the CIA. And in the process of that, Jack Kennedy fired Alan Dulles, who had been instrumental in forming the CIA after the Roswell crash in 1947. And because of that, they said, oh, no, you're not. And they set up an assassination with patsies and all that. So we know that that's the case. And I have people in Europe as well as in the U.S. that have information on all of that. I think also Bobby Kennedy, Sr.
I don't know. If you ask me, fam, seems to me to be an easier question to ask. What aren't they capable of doing? You know, really? Poison us? Lie to us? You know what? I think it's time we stand up. And maybe we should start with this group by standing up. Hit that subscribe button, guys, for everybody who believes in wanting to know the truth and getting to the bottom of this bullshit, because I'm not going to say it for entertainment purposes because I don't know yet, but I sure would like to know. How about you guys? Put it down in the comments.
Apple might be the most satanic company, and let me tell you why. The first Mac, you know, the iMac, do you know how much it sold for? $666. That's 666. That's what it cost. You think that's just a fun number? No. Steve Jobs was exact with numbers. He picked that on purpose. Now look at the logo, a bitten apple. That's not just some design choice, that's the Bible, the fall of man. The moment sin entered the world, that's the symbol they went with. And then there's Siri. Say it backwards. Iris. What's your iris? Your eye. And what's the biggest symbol used in secret groups like the Illuminati? The one eye. Over and over again, same message. Now think, iPhone. That's not just internet phone, that's iPhone, E-Y-E. The eye is watching, always. So, let's put it together. You've got the number 666, you've got the apple with a bite, you've got the eye, the one eye, the iris, the iPhone, all connected. People think it's just cool tech. No, it's something else. It's a symbol, it's a system, and it's everywhere. And you carry it in your pocket.
This is just a theory, not a fact.
The government's secret: alien bodies recovered from UFO crash sites. Joe Rogan unveils the truth. In a jaw-dropping episode of his podcast, Joe Rogan delivers what he claims are the real facts about the U.S. government's secret involvement with extraterrestrial life. According to Rogan, government insiders have confirmed that alien bodies were actually recovered from several UFO crash sites, including the infamous Roswell incident and other lesser-known crashes across Nevada and New Mexico. Rogan presents detailed testimonies from former military officials, intelligence agents, and even scientists who allegedly participated in secret recovery missions. He explains that the alien bodies were transported to hidden military facilities, such as Area 51 and other underground labs, for examination and research. Rogan insists that these bodies have been thoroughly studied for decades, with evidence kept under the strictest security protocols. Every action counts. A like, a comment, and a share would help a lot. Add this video to your favorites to watch it later.
Was the Maui fire intentionally set? Here are some strange facts about the Maui fire that isn't being told by the media. When the Maui fire was raging, police blocked the exits out of Maui, trapping the residents in the raging fire. The water was turned off during the fire. And lastly, the wealthy people's residences in Maui were not affected while the fires caused devastation on the island of Maui and destroyed most of the historic town of Lahaina. Coincidence?
Well, my friends and family, we've reached that time again, the end of the video. None of us like it, but we know it's got to happen because the next one's already in progress. But hey, just a reminder out there, we don't have to take bullshit. We don't have to take lies. We don't have to take cover-ups. Let's get to the truth. Become a member of the Freaky family. Hit that subscribe button. You know, we're headed to 1,000, and then we're headed to 10,000, and we ain't stopping there. So let's show the people that it's about time. They're done pissing around with us, because we the Freaky family, and we ain't stopping at nothing. Anyways, till next time, this is Don LaRock. Au revoir. Thank you for tuning in to another edition of Capital City Paranormalish. We hope you have enjoyed today's video and its content, and will tune in again. If you want to become a member of the Freaky family, just hit the subscribe button below, and there will be a welcome mat at the door for you. But until then, keep your head looking over your shoulders and be safe. Ha 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 ha.